What's up, my fellow gaming individuals? I hope everyone is having a great day today, just full of so much positivity and happiness, dude, because today we are going to be taking a look at one of my personal favorite YouTube content creators that toes the line between politics and video games, and that, of course, is none other than the amazing Lucas.
Delicious, fragile tears.
This is where the fun begins.
And well, we're going to be taking a look at a very special video today revolving around everyone's favorite video game of 2023, and that, of course, is Spider-Mid 2. Now, the video from the amazing Lucas we're going to be watching here today is titled Miles Morales is the main Spider-Man racist triggered, and you can probably already guess where this video is going. Apparently, according to the amazing Lucas, if you're not happy that Miles Morales is replacing Spider-Man 1.5 games into the Spider-Man series, then apparently you are literally just racist, bro. Now, keep in mind, I mean, just to point this out up front, Lucas was also not a fan of the fact that Miles Morales was replacing Spider-Man during his initial playthrough of the game.
Don't do it, game. Don't do it, bro. Don't make Miles Spider-Man, bro. Don't do it, game. Don't say, hey, this man's giving up. He's retiring. He wants to settle down. Don't do it, bro. Like, Miles, you got this, bro. Don't do it, fam. Don't do it. Don't you fucking do it. Don't you fucking do it, game. Don't do it, Insomniac. Don't you fucking do it.
Go be Peter Parker for a while. Are you sure it's a big call you for it?
If you gave this game 10 out of 10, you're fucking retarded. I don't know what to tell you. Like, you're actually fucking brain dead. The man had one game. The man had one game. So it's gonna be Miles who fights Green Goblin, huh? I was wondering why they were killing off his Rogues Gallery. Because they're looking to introduce, what, Miles Rogues Gallery? I hate you, Insomniac. I fucking hate you. I hate everyone at Insomniac.
But you know, it's perfectly fine for the amazing Lucas to hold this standpoint and viewpoint and overall opinion on the game because he's not white. Because if you're white and you don't like the idea of Miles Morales replacing Spider-Man after 1.5 games, then you're nothing more than a hateful, racist bigot.
You fucking crackers are some of the worst fucking people on God's green earth. I swear to God, you guys are like a fucking disease. You're a fucking cancer on this goddamn planet. If you are white right now, and you're going through shit, you caused it. You did it. You got no one else. You fucking did it. These mofos, if you are going through any problem right now, you created that shit. How the fuck are you gonna have laws protecting you and still be poor? Bitch, what? If you're a poor white person, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you're poor and white, you should be fucking disgusted with yourself.
You're all hateful, fucking racist bigots!
Now, it is almost impossible to ignore the irony and just insane levels of rules for thee but not for me surrounding this particular individual. But on top of that, if you want even more context, go look up the drama surrounding the amazing Lucas and Officer Tatum. This guy is an insane political grifter and uses racial politics to get easy views. He used to be a huge MAGA guy back in like the 2016 to 2019 era. Then he switched up to being pro BLM when that entire thing went down. And, you know, he just kind of bounces all over the place nowadays. And it's hard to really take someone that inconsistent seriously. But overall, man, that's what makes the amazing Lucas so entertaining is you really never know what you're going to experience when you click on one of his videos. And, well, I feel like that definitely holds true for the one we're going to be watching today. So I think without further ado, man, sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, grab a drink, buckle up those brain cells, and let's get this shit started.
Oh my goodness. So if you haven't heard, well, you're in luck because the internet is ablaze right now, okay? People are losing their minds. And when I mean people, I mean predominantly white, racist, incel, neckbeard people.
You fucking crackers are some of the worst fucking people on God's green earth.
Those are the people that are going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs right now. And you wanna know the reason why? Is because that Insomniac has said that Miles Morales is gonna be the main Spider-Man in their universe.
Don't do it, bro. Don't make Miles Spider-Man, bro. Don't do it, gang.
That's correct. Miles Morales, the main Spider-Man within the Insomniac universe. And boy, oh boy, these mofos are losing it.
I hate you, Insomniac. I fucking hate you. I hate everyone at Insomniac.
They're going crazy, bruh. They're going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I saw a few people tweet, this is the best one I've seen, is Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miles Morales is Miles Morales. I'm sorry, what the hell does that mean?
Don't make Miles Spider-Man, bro. Don't do it, gang. Don't say, hey, this man's giving up. He's retiring. He wants to settle down. Don't do it, bro. Like, Miles, you got this, bro. Don't do it, fam. Don't do it. Don't you fucking do it.
Can you tell me what that means? That's like saying Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Miguel O'Hara is Miguel O'Hara. Like, what? What? It's crazy because they have so much hatred in their hearts that they start just speaking drivel. You have all these racists, all these neckbeards, these incels who are losing it. They are going insane, and it's really, I'm kind of scared right now. I'm genuinely scared because I don't know what they're capable of.
Now, you may have noticed we made it 2 minutes into Lucas's video and I didn't have to say a word to refute a single thing he's been saying this entire time because, you know, as the great Obi-Wan once said,
You have done that yourself.
you know, it's always a good sign when you can refute someone's video by using clips from another one of their videos that directly contradict every single point they're trying to make, and this is definitely going to be one of those cases. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to add some commentary here and there because nobody wants to hear Lucas repeat himself over and over and over again, but quite literally, I probably could do the rest of this video in that previous style that I did for the past 2 minutes of his video because, you know, the dude just contradicts himself at every given opportunity, and now we're supposed to believe that he's in fear for his life of the spider simps, bro. He's afraid of what they might do. So, you know, let's go ahead and find out what exactly he's afraid of.
Well, actually, we do know what they're capable of. So,
Dude, I've already watched this fucking video and it's still just as funny watching this shit again. Oh my god, bro. Alright, let's just keep it going, guys. Let's just keep... I don't even need to try to explain how fucking stupid that shit is. But hold on, real quick. Like, I guess I can appreciate the irony too, because Lucas used to be a Trump supporter and he's also a huge Spider-Man fan, and he wasn't happy about Miles replacing Spider-Man, if he's being honest. So, is he speaking from experience what he would have done in a similar situation?
make sure you stay locked and loaded because you never know. They may do a January 6th, but it may be on Insomniac Game Studios. I hope Insomniac has upped their security, all right? I hope Brian Indahar, bruh, get you some security, okay? Because these mofos is wild. They crazy, okay? I don't want, God forbid something happened to you, you know, and we see it on the news, and it's like, you know, Spider-Man 3 has been postponed or delayed. We don't want that to happen, okay? So I want y'all to boost your security.
Nah, dude, Spider-Man told me to repeal the Second Amendment. Who needs guns when you have compliments?
Less guns, more compliments.
I just find it absolutely hilarious because let's break this down. How many games do we have of Peter Parker, bro?
I mean, I hate to use another one of his clips, man, but it's way too fitting.
The man had one game. The man had one game.
How many games do we have of this man?
The man had one game.
If we go all the way back to the PS1 to currently, how many games? We include mobile games, bro. we have a plethora of Peter Parker games.
Well, we're talking about the Insomniac Spider-Man series here. What other developers do with their own Spider-Man universes is not relevant to Insomniac, because Insomniac already said they're not following the comic books, movies, or any other established Spider-Man storyline. And on top of that, when a lot of those Spider-Man games were coming out, Miles Morales wasn't even a fucking idea at that point, because Miles Morales was created in 2010 by this guy who basically wanted to create the Barack Obama of Spider-Man. And no, I'm not fucking kidding. You can look that shit up.
All right? There is nothing wrong with giving the mantle to Miles Morales.
Don't make Miles Spider-Man, bro. Don't do it, gang. Don't say, hey, this man's giving up. He's retiring. He wants to settle down. Don't do it, bro. Like, Miles, you got this, bro. Don't do it, fam. Don't do it.
Just as, Batman and everyone else has given the mantle to other individuals to carry it on, to carry on the legacy. Do you want to know why? Because they get old and they die. That's what happens.
Yes, Spider-Man at the ripe age of 25 is literally on his fucking deathbed in the retirement home. I mean, shit, as someone who's also 25, I can definitely understand.
Now, I understand. Peter is not old in this game. But here's the thing. Let me just break this down to you. This is something that I had to deal with. I had to struggle and get over. And that is, this is Insomniac's universe.
So why did you just use other storylines as an example of why it's perfectly fine? You can't have it both ways. If you want to look at this game as an independent storyline, don't use other storylines as precedent for why it's acceptable.
That is correct. This is Insomniac's Spider-Man. This is Insomniac's Mary Jane. This is Insomniac's Miles Morales. I may not like how they portray Peter Parker. I may not like how they portray Mary Jane. I may not like how they do Miles Morales. I may not like the combat. I may not like the side missions, but at the end of the day, this is their game. This is their vision. This is what they have put out. And at the end of the day, you can either accept that or not accept that.
Well, I actually 100% agree with that fact, Lucas, but just because you don't accept it doesn't mean you're fucking racist.
And if you accept it, well then, hey, join the ride. Welcome to the club. And if you don't accept it, then go off. Bye. Go somewhere. I don't know what to tell you. These dregs of society, what they end up doing is that they're just attention seekers, bro. They're constantly attention seekers.
Dude, the irony that a YouTuber, and much less the amazing Lucas himself, has the nerve and audacity to call other people attention seekers is beyond fucking gold. Holy shit, man. Have an ounce of self-awareness. You wouldn't upload a single video of yourself on the internet if you weren't seeking attention in the first place. Once again, it's another amazing example from our boy Lucas of rules for thee, but not for me.
They have to cry and scream on their way to the exit. And it's like, yo, we don't care, bro. We don't care. They're just like, I'm leaving. This is wokety, woke, okay? I'm leaving. And it's like, bro, you don't have to tell us, just leave, right? Just you don't have to tell us you're not buying the game. Just don't buy the game. I don't know what to tell you. It's just these wokety woke types are so nauseating. Because I'm like, bro, it's 2023. I get it when it's 2016, right? I get it, when that's popular and stuff right now. That's not popular right now.
So if you're up to date on your lore surrounding the amazing Lucas, this particular statement is extremely hypocritical and really shows his true nature, because he's literally admitting that in the past, back in that 2016 era, he engaged in that exact same content, and now we know the actual motivation for that. It was to grift, man. Back when it was popular, he was hopping on that hype train, milking it for views as the unprincipled individual that he is. So I think this is a lot more damning to him than he thinks it is towards other people, because when you consider his background, which he's made sure to scrub from his channel entirely, he falls into this exact particular category and is speaking from experience around that time frame, because he used to engage in that exact type of content.
Okay? You're just grifting for nothing. It's not even a grift at this point. You just seem ignorant. You seem not only racist, but you seem bigoted at this point. What I've basically gathered is that when it comes to woke, first off, they bastardize a term. Secondly, the original definition of the term woke, they use it for negative. So basically, it's anything having to do with social issues regarding black people and LGBT.
I don't know, man, but I don't even feel like it's worth the time to genuinely argue this point because it's done in such bad faith, and he's overall just being so disingenuous, bro. Like, this is such a blatant oversimplification of the issue, and he fucking knows it, and I don't really even feel like it's worth the time to even, like, rebut it. It's just a complete disingenuous waste of everyone's fucking time and energy because that is basically what the amazing Lucas has to resort to these days to get any little bit of attention on his channel.
That's woke to them. I kid you not. It's just woke to them. And I want to say this. This is not to criticize the predominantly white, incel, neckbeard individuals. This is not to criticize them.
You fucking crackers are some of the worst fucking people on God's green earth.
I understand. I get where you're coming from, okay? I can sympathize with you. I really can. Because you have to understand, to them, they feel like they're losing everything.
In all honesty, man, I think this is him projecting about the current state of his YouTube career.
One character that these fragile individuals had was Spider-Man. White Spider-Man. That's the one thing they could sympathize with. Like, he's a nerd like me. That's the only thing they could sympathize because because Spider-Man, he had a crazy physique. He had a hot-ass bombshell girlfriend.
Maybe in past iterations, man, but definitely not in these Insomniac games. You know, Mewing John is not exactly the face of beauty.
And he had a job. Those are three things that none of these individuals, the vast majority of them, have.
Wait, I thought the whole gimmick about Spider-Man was like he never could keep like a stable job and he like had to work freelance as a photographer and was always fucking broke. Like, maybe I'm wrong, dude. I'm not an expert on Spider-Man lore, but I thought that was like the whole gimmick is like he was always struggling to keep work and balance being a superhero.
Okay? So it ends and begins with him being white and him, I don't know, being broke.
If you're a poor white person, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself. If you're poor and white, you should be fucking disgusted with yourself.
That's where it ends, and that's where it begins. That's where it starts and ends. Everything else is like, how do you identify with Spider-Man? I don't get it, bro. But they feel like everything's being ripped from them. Okay, they're saying, hey, it's Black Panther. Why is there a black person on screen? Hey, why is this happening? Why are people now bringing up social issues that I don't agree with? What about me? What about me? And so you have to understand, they've been coddled for centuries. You have to understand this. They've been coddled for centuries.
Oh boy, guys, buckle in those brain cells because we're about to get a lecture on racial inequality from the amazing Lucas. And I find this really ironic too because I really have not seen many people complain about Miles being black. It's more so the fact that he's obnoxious and he literally sounds like fucking Urkel.
So when people start to, well, this is not what's supposed to happen. This is not, why are we doing this, right? We're just doing this due to tradition. Okay, let's stop that and actually see if we can improve things. Let's see if we can actually have a diverse, representation in some of our platforms.
You're acting like the standalone Spider-Man Miles Morales game doesn't already exist, dude. They could have literally just made a sequel to that and then kept Spider-Man as Peter Parker. But no, there's much more behind it than simply more representation. In fact, there's a certain diabetes fetus that, everybody should go to my channel and learn a little bit more about. That is directly responsible for a lot of these narrative choices.
Let's see if we can actually, engage in political discourse.
Yeah, because that's exactly what people want to do after they come home from a long day at work. They want to turn on their PlayStation 5 and get lectured to about politics.
And see if we can do that on games or different mediums, which has always been the case. If you look in comics, Captain America was punching Hitler, all right?
I don't know why these amazing Lucas types always default to this, like punching Hitler is some sort of controversial fucking issue, dude. When has it ever not been okay to say you want to punch Hitler, my guy? Like, I'm pretty sure that's one of the most lukewarm political, if you can even call it political takes you can have.
They've always tackled difficult topics, right? Especially with the X-Men, whether it was Spider-Man, Superman, that's always been the case.
Yeah, and there's a very distinct difference of how that's done now versus back then. Back then, they had a little something called subtlety and nuance. Now it's all about shoving it down your throat at every given opportunity.
So when people would say, you know, politics, I notice certain things happen to deal with politics when it comes to these inbred types, right? If it's a black person, that's politics. If it's a white person, well, that's America. If it's a black person, that's politics. If it's, you know, a white person, well, that's good gameplay.
And why were none of these arguments being made about the Spider-Man Miles Morales standalone game? Why is it that all this shit starts popping up and this becomes the discourse after Spider-Man 2, where they literally replace Spider-Man in his own fucking game, even though Miles already has his own standalone franchise? Do you not see the issue here? It doesn't have to do with the fucking color of the character's skin, it has to do with the shitty fucking writing and story in this game.
That's great storytelling. It's just, I just find the hypocrisy, it's hilarious to me. It's honestly hilarious to me. But you have to understand there's a victim complex that these kids are being fed. They are being fed to be victims. And it's really sad to see, because that's where this whole, well, this is anti-white. This is where the whole, well, that's not diversity. You just mean it's anti-white. No, that's not what that means. That means in addition to white. In addition to white. That's a notion that many of them have never had to, you know, to take in.
Now we're getting a lecture in children's psychology from the amazing Lucas. You know, this is truly insightful shit, man. I feel like my mind is truly opening up at this point. But, you know, let's say all things equal, Miles is also white, same with Peter, and Miles is still objectively the worst character. He's literally a Mary Sue in this storyline. He's obnoxious, his voice actor is terrible. He literally sounds like Urkel, and he's a complete fucking dweeb. So, honestly, I just really don't like the dude as a character. He is terribly written. I mean, let me pull the "but I have black friends so I can't be racist" card. I mean, one of my personal favorite games of all time, Prototype 2, did a race swap on the main character. In the first game, you play as Alex Mercer, who's white, and then in the next game, you play as James Heller, who's a black guy, and you literally kill Alex Mercer in that game. But overall, I thought it was done perfectly fine, and I liked Heller better as a character over Alex Mercer. So this is just such a massive cop-out, and it's very common for the racial grifting types like the amazing Lucas to engage in.
Dana, it's me. Listen, I know who has Maya. Some asshole named Griffin. He's a government agent of some kind.
Because it's always been their way or the highway. So now you have other individuals, other white individuals, who are saying, well, let's not do it that way. Let's bring everyone else in and see what their opinions are. Let's see if we can get a different perspective that can enrich this game, or can enrich this movie, or can enrich this storytelling. And then, of course, you have those who are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, where they're just going off on the deep end, where no one wants to see what they produce. But they try to conflate those two. They try and conflate the cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs with the people who generally want change for the better of the country and for the better of society.
And you think replacing Peter Parker with Miles Morales in a PlayStation Spider-Man game is the way to go about that? I mean, talk about being fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Holy shit, man.
But you have to understand that's what they feel. So when they see Spider-Man, right, being, you know, the mantle being given to Miles, they feel like they're losing it. They feel like, hey, I'm losing my power on reality. I'm losing, this is no longer a white Spider-Man.
Dude, this is fucking great. Like, I'm trying really hard to keep myself together at this point. Like, even listening to this back, and I've already watched this a couple times at this point, but oh my god, dude, talk about unnecessarily analyzing a situation to the extreme.
Okay, I can't identify with Miles Morales. And it's honestly hysterical, because it goes back to like, well, how do you think, you know, little black Lucas felt? Right? How do you think other black kids felt? How do you think non-white people felt constantly being bombarded with a plethora of white superheroes?
See, this is why I can't take any of these cape shit people seriously, man. Your worth as a human being is determined by whether or not a superhero in a comic book has the same skin color as you. And plus, Lucas, you grew up in like the 1990s, not the fucking 1790s.
There were black superheroes, but they weren't given the spotlight. There were black actors, but they weren't given the roles. There were black artists, but they weren't given as far as the opportunities.
That is beyond objectively false, and I don't even feel like I need to justify that shit. Let's just keep going.
How ignorant and how selfish they can be, because once again, they've been coddled. I never saw as far as Spider-Man as white Spider-Man. I thought his character, because a lot of the issues he was going through, I was going through, and I identified with that.
So basically what you're saying is his racial identity has nothing to do with his relatability, and the entire point of this video was literally for you to just impression farm off of racial topics. Got it, dude. You know, another par for the course grifting video from the amazing Lucas.
But you leave it to these incels, you leave it to these neckbeards, these racists.
Fucking crackers are some of the worst fucking people on God's green earth.
That's what they identify with. It's not his powers or anything like that, because they don't have powers in the real world. They're usually broke. They're usually underweight or overweight. So the only thing they can identify is with his whiteness. They're like, hey, he's white, I'm white. That's awesome.
Dude, I don't even know what the point of this video is at this point. Like, he is running in so many different logical circles. It's absolutely incredible, just contradicting himself at every single opportunity. Like, apparently he can look at Spider-Man through a completely unique perspective that literally everyone with white skin is incapable of doing.
Great. But that's why it's such a superficial bonding that many of them have, that it's also a reflection of the arguments that they present. Because it's just like, you ask them actual questions, why do you believe that? It just boils down to, well, he's black. And it's like, what?
Yeah, personally, as someone who's covered this topic extensively, I have not seen people just defaulting to that as their one gripe with it. I mean, sure, if you want to pick out the crazies in the bunch, sure, you can probably make that case, but I don't know why you're painting as wide of a canvas as you are with this super fucking niche argument that only applies to maybe a fraction of the overall people complaining about the narrative decisions in Spider-Man 2, yourself included, Lucas. So does that make you a racist?
That's the only issue you have? So I bond with Peter Parker just as much as I can bond with Miles Morales. But you have to understand there's an audience that can't do that. There's an audience that sees that barrier because of the color of that person's skin. They see that as, this is political. There's an agenda behind it. They use a whole bunch of ambiguous terms.
Again, check my channel for a certain video I recently uploaded, and you'll see that there is a legitimate agenda behind this, but I'm not going to go into too many details in this video about that because it seems to be a very touchy topic on YouTube these days.
To try and mask their hatred. I'd rather they just come out and say, not my Spider-Man, because he's black, right? We had that during, the election when it came to Obama. They didn't know any policies, right? But it was just simply because he was black. Hey, no, we don't want him because he's black. I respect people who come out and say they're anti-black hatred, they're racist, they're bigotry, than people who try to masquerade behind, the English language.
This motherfucker really just pulled a straight up Wings of Redemption, dude.
I want to talk about why racists do not bother me.
Right? They try to mask their intentions, mask their beliefs, because they feel like, well, if I actually come out and say this, I'll be persecuted. And it's like, well, yes, because that's an antiquated racist perspective. So it's not necessarily you be persecuted, but you will be ostracized. Okay, those are two different things. It's not that someone will do anything to you, it's just that people will avoid you. So you also have to understand that they have never suffered consequences.
I mean, I kind of had to agree with Lucas here. This is a rare take that I actually think is somewhat grounded in reality, because if you're just blanket hating someone for the color of their skin, which they literally could not help at the time at which they were born, I think that's pretty fucking stupid. People who unironically engage in that type of behavior 100% are complete fucking losers. But at the same time, he's really trying to oversimplify this argument at this point.
Right? It's always been their way or the highway. So when they suffer consequences for their behavior or for their hatred, that's when they cry censorship. Because it's really delusional how these individuals think, right? Because they want to be able to spew just hatred and just real venomous stuff under the guise of free speech and stuff like that. So they're so used to having it their way that when actual people come up good people come up in the ranks and say, we're not doing it this way. They end up becoming fragile. They end up, why so fragile? They end up crying and crumbling before our eyes. And I think that's what we're seeing.
I mean, personally, I'm of the mindset that I think it's better to let people run their fucking mouth and expose themselves for what they truly are, mask off, than trying to censor people, because it keeps, the discourse open in the public, and you can publicly shame people who have stupid fucking takes on all sides of the aisle or from all angles of a perspective. But I think public ridicule, bullying, and overall disagreement is a better source of, I guess, growth than just ostracizing these people into their own little circle jerks of the internet to where they can just coexist and, fester and grow. And that's an issue I think we have with today's current social media landscape, is a lot of these platforms have gotten so heavy-handed with banning anyone who differs slightly from the current thing mentality that you have basically these extremists growing in these far-off corners of the internet, far removed from the normal, everyday people.
To my last point is, I don't like this Peter Parker. That's correct. I don't like this Peter Parker.
And you like Miles in these games? Like, Miles is 10 times worse than Peter for all the same reasons that Peter is not a good character in these Spider-Man games.
So I really don't care what happens to this Peter Parker.
Don't make Miles Spider-Man, bro. Don't do it, gang. Don't say, hey, this man's giving up, he's retiring.
I don't like this guy. To be really honest with you, I like Bubniak's face, whatever his name was. I like the original face. They already changed his face. Already don't like him. They changed Mary Jane, already don't like it. The writing in this game, Spider-Man 2, absolutely trash.
See, I love how he leaves this type of argument towards the end of the video, because then he can go, well, I criticized the story too. This should have been up front, because this is the majority of the reason why people are not happy about Miles replacing Peter. It has nothing to do with any of the bullshit you talked about in the first 15 minutes of this video.
I have no care in the world for this Peter Parker. None whatsoever. And I find it hilarious because you had a lot of these individuals, these incels, neckbeards, those types, the anti-black racists, you had a lot of them criticizing the game for its wokeness and its wokeness, and they completely nerfed Peter and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, okay, well, if that's how you feel, then you weren't going to buy the next game anyway, right?
Well, they might if they actually made a good game for once. I mean, there's one thing in pointing out the fact that you don't like a video game and still wanting the next game to potentially be better. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong for hoping that a franchise you actually enjoy eventually gets a good adaptation. And at the same time, pointing out what's wrong with the games that have come out already.
So what does it matter what they do with the story? You don't like Peter, right? So what does it matter what they do with Peter?
Well, maybe if they actually utilized him correctly, people would care about the story, and they would care about the character, and they would look forward to the next games. Like, you're missing that entire point, and I'm pretty sure it's deliberate.
So it just seems, what it comes off as is just fake outrage. They just want to complain to simply complain. That's what they want.
Well, congratulations, Lucas. If that's the case, you gave them all the attention they ordered.
They want their voices heard because they feel like it's being muffled or they're being silenced, which is absolutely delusional. So they'll scream and cry even louder. I don't care for this Spider-Man, to be honest with you. I think the story is trash. I don't like where they're going. If they want to hand off the mantle to Miles, by all means. I think Miles is honestly, gameplay-wise, I think he's more fun to play than Peter.
And you don't think that was deliberate? You don't think that, they made Miles more fun to play than Peter on purpose so that when they eventually got rid of Peter, nobody would care because they'd be like, oh, well, Miles is more fun to play. Like, that's a deliberate gameplay decision to back up the narrative decision. Like, I mean, are you really that dense that you can't put 2 and 2 together in that situation? I mean, come on, bro. Like, even for you, the amazing Lucas, I know you're not that dumb.
It's as simple as that. I think he's more fun to play as Peter. So if they can expound upon his abilities and improve the gameplay, absolutely, let's freaking go. Now, of course, that's going to alienate a lot of the racists, the neckbeards, the incels. It's going to alienate them. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there's nothing you can do. We can't cater as a society to the dregs of this society.
Dude, I am just so ready for this video to be over with at this point. Like, I am sick and tired of listening to this guy get on his soapbox and give this entire speech about how much more morally superior he is compared to everyone else who disliked this game. Because apparently it's perfectly fine for him to find fault with the game and its narrative decisions, but if you find faults with it, then you're a terrible person, apparently. A dreg of society, as he calls it.
We can't cater to the cuckoo for cocos. We can't cater to the bigots. We can't cater to the racists. We can't cater to them, unfortunately.
Wait, unfortunately?
To the bigots. We can't cater to the racists. We can't cater to them, unfortunately.
Fucking crackers are some of the worst fucking people on God's green earth. I swear to God, you guys are like a fucking disease. You're a fucking cancer on this goddamn planet.
Keep that same energy.
Right? Because I know, in capitalism, if you can make $1 off a racist, you can make $1, right? But that's harmful to society as a whole. So
I don't know, man. Wouldn't separating them from their money be a more beneficial thing in the long run? I don't know. Just food for thought.
They need to be going in a different direction and let them die by the wayside. It's just as simple as that. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe, look, this is woke, okay? There's an agenda behind it. It's an agenda. That's what it is. You need to look at the ESRB or whatever, the ESB. You need to look at what's really going on here, okay? This is an agenda. It's an anti-white agenda, and I'm not for it, all right? Or if you have belief, listen, I get it. Hashtag not my Spider-Man. Boo-hoo. Don't buy the game. Great. I mean, just be quiet on your way out.
See, this is another thing I find very ironic, because Lucas is more than happy to voice his opinion about anything and everything because he's a YouTuber, dude. But the average person, God forbid, they say why or give a reason for why they're not supporting something. You know, just shut up and don't buy the product, you fucking normie. Leave the commentary to the professionals.
There's the door. Go and exit. It's as simple as that. I have no preference when it comes to which way they go with Peter or Miles. I want a good game. I want a good story. If that's a story with Miles or if that's a story with Peter, then so be it. But I find it interesting how they think that Peter isn't going to have any whatsoever interaction in the game.
This sounds like a massive straw man because I don't think anyone has been saying this.
That's not what they mean by main Spider-Man. You can have a main Spider-Man and still have Peter be around. Just like Batman is the main character of Batman, but you also have Robin and Nightwing, right? And Batgirl who make an appearance. So given the threat of the next game, how big it may be, obviously he's gonna have backup. It's the reason why he had backup in this one when it came to Venom. So I think, people want to be upset, and they have every right to do that. And you know what? I have every right to laugh at their, their hatred, their racism, and their bigotry, and, call it what it is. Nevertheless, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did...
Well, I think it's pretty safe to say that I did not enjoy this video, and I don't think I'm going to go do whatever it is he was going to tell us to go do if we did enjoy it, but overall, I think the key takeaway from this amazing video we just witnessed is that if your name is The Amazing Lucas, it is perfectly fine to have valid criticisms about Spider-Man 2 and the narrative decision to replace Peter Parker with Miles Morales, but if your name happens to not be The Amazing Lucas, then your opinion is literally hate personified, and you just need to shut your mouth and not buy the game and move on with your life and not give your opinion anywhere publicly, because that's how the world works apparently. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like on it. This is definitely a long one and definitely a painful one for me to get through, so hopefully it was at least a little bit entertaining for you guys, and I really do appreciate anyone who did make it to the end of this shit, because it was definitely an uphill climb, man. But as always, thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to check out this video and for all the recent support as well on the channel, man. This has literally been the best month ever I've had on my channel, I'm pretty sure. So I really do appreciate all the support. You guys have been absolutely blessing your boy, and I really do appreciate it. So I hope you all have or had a very happy Thanksgiving. Appreciate your time checking out this video, and I will catch you guys next time.